Yeah, good evening, everyone. And it's such a pleasure actually to be in this absolutely awesome nature environment. And I honestly accepted Aman's invitation because she kind of came up with it just last evening. And I was going to Amritsar with my cousins who've come from Canada, and I was looking forward to it. But the thought of coming here in this environment, reading poetry, and I listened to my intuition. And my intuition said, okay, that's where you go. And here I am.
Right.
And yeah. And actually, I never came to read poetry, although being a poet is one of the things I am. And I didn't even think I was going to, because from what we decided to call, I want to talk about mysticism, and that's what I am going to talk about. But since some of us are planning to leave and they cannot go without listening to one poem, so I'm going to see to it that I will recite one poem and then do the whole drama of mysticism after that. Because actually my poetry itself comes from the depths of mysticism. I started writing at the age of, I can't even remember, maybe 4 or 5. And I never understood the words. I never understood the meaning. But I used to keep writing in a flow. And it's now that I've begun to understand the real meaning of it. And also, you know, by the time I was 20, everybody would say, oh, you're 20 years ahead of time. God knows what you keep talking about and what you write. But now I feel the time has come. Now I'm feeling I'm with the time. Now people are ready to listen to this poetry. I have people, and I feel proud of it. Earlier, I was embarrassed about it. If you see my first interview, when I released my first book, I was saying, I never wanted to release this poetry book because I used to find it that, people kind of looked at spirituality in a very semi-negative. I won't say negative, but they thought you were a weirdo, or you're a kook, or you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Or like in the Delhi circles where I was married, and I'd move in the very high fashion circles, and they'd think, oh, don't try to show off. You just want to be different. That's why, I had a PhD in philosophy. Oh, we know that type. And I'd feel really bad about it because I used to think, this is like making fun of this whole concept. But so I always kept it to myself. And I think everybody knows Nirupama Dutt. She's a very dear friend and one of the poets and writers of our country. And when I showed her my poetry, she says, Renee, this is like keeping jewelry in a locker. She says, what the heck are you doing? Isko pade, it's just going to lie there. Just get it out, get it published, get it out in the open. So my first book, we published, and she did an interview of mine, and we have it on record. But slowly that gave me the thing about, then I think YouTube had just started, and Vivek Atre, everybody knows, in Chandigarh, we decided that we're not going to call a writer or poet to release this book. We're going to call someone who has nothing to do with literature. And I was very skeptical. I remember I had just come back to live in Chandigarh after 20 years. And it was like my rebirth in Chandigarh, and I was wondering how people would accept me, and so you'll be surprised. We called about 50 odd people, and he'd called this guy to do this YouTube thing for us and all, and he's saying, Renee, I hope we have people. I said, yeah, dekhi jayegi, And we had the press club, we had almost more than 300 people. They were standing outside the gate. I didn't invite them, honestly. But that's the power of the spirit. That's the power of the divine. And that's what's mysticism. I'm going to be talking about mysticism. But now if I look back, that's what draws people. You don't have to call them. The energy calls them. The energy that wants them to listen to what you're going to say. And the energy that wants them to connect to what you're going to say. So I feel very blessed. And still it didn't give me the kind of confidence in my writing. But But now I think the time has come for everyone to see whatever I do. I have 4 books, and apart from poetry, I mean, now I speak all over the world. Chalta hai. No, but I just read one poem because my dear friends have to leave and they're threatening to go without hearing me. So I have to. No, let me just see what would be just the right thing to read. Okay, and since we're talking about mysticism, every book of mine has something that says mind, body and spirit come together to encompass divine love. Now, whatever I wrote always will just come. I mean, I never thought about it. So that's what came, and these are 4 books which are like, the first one was called Sacred Longings. The second one is Sacred Karma. The third one is Sacred Desire. The fourth one, I haven't really got the title at the moment. And all of them have the lotus. It took me years to even decide what I wanted on the cover. The first one has a pink lotus. The second has a white one. Third has a purple, the divine color. Fourth, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, now let me see what I'm going to read. Quick. Under pressure, very hard for a poet, you know? But you will not regret it. Maza aayega, promise you. You're meant to be. Everything in life is meant to be. If we think that we are controlling things, we're really not. And you know, time is a metaphor. If you think you're getting late, there is no time actually. It's an illusion. And I think the evolved human mind has the concept of being able to cross every dimension they want. So if you want to live in another time zone, time will stop for you. Don't worry. Whatever you're meant to do at whatever time, ho jayega. Okay, I'll just read this unfolding. This is what opened the page. It's called Unfolding. Slowly as the world is opening up to me, I see divinity all around me. I see our love just surround me, giving me the strength and the courage I always lacked for want of love. New words and new dimensions have suddenly opened up in my life. I feel a new sense of belonging within my own self, longing for a sense of self-worth. Extremely dated, I thank the higher source for being so much there for me, for helping me to achieve the purpose for which he created me. Slowly, as I see my dream taking shape into a reality I always dreamt of would come true.
Thank you so much.
All right. Fulfillment.
I'm sorry.
Okay, see you guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. Bye.
Okay, this is called Fulfillment. How much I long for the bliss of love fulfilled. The cup of life full yet, with the wine I could drink from your lips, and listen to tales divine amidst joyous peals of laughter, and the soul searching for its own fulfillment. How much I long for the spirit's dance to the tune of joy within my being, and my love's own way of showing how much is there with you to give you strength and joy and a sense of constant ecstasy through every ploy, just everywhere, wherever you are, just there, and there I will be. अब मैं तो पोएट्री पढ़ने लग गई, वो मेटाफिजिक्स थोड़ी सी सुनने चाहेंगे तो मैं सुनाऊंगी.
Yeah, I think we should have a metaphysics discussion too, but one more poem if you are.
Okay, since we are in nature, I'll read something very short which says nature's love. When all the birds and the bees, the flowers and the trees come and pay obeisance to me and Mother Nature, then I shall truly believe that you love me. How much we needn't know, measure or tell. You don't have to bother to clap. वैसे हाँ वैसे कहते हैं ना जो आर्टिस्ट होता है उसको दांत में ही मजा आता है जितनी ताल है ना.
I want to know something from you.
हाँ जी.
this only. Do I have the...
Yes.
You see, the other day when I was at Sydney, Professor Khosla, the Chancellor,
हाँ जी.
I'm writing a book, as I told you. I'm writing a book about Guru Nanak's, journey, and all one must know about the Sikh faith and things like that. There, that chapter about the miracles associated with Guru Nanak, I have just written down the miracle which people they say that he performed. Though Guru Nanak was vehemently opposed to the miracles, he wanted to perform miracles, he never performed miracles, but
they just happened.
Associated.
Right.
Then I will discuss it with Khosla Saab, he's a chancellor there. He gave me a few pages of autobiography of Yogi, Paramananda Yoga.
Yeah, because they work on his principles.
So he gave me those, and I will go through that. The chapter is called the Laws of Miracle.
Okay.
Laws of Miracle. And I went through that. And, for a person like me to believe in that,
was a bit difficult.
Says, I find it extremely difficult. But then this man is an Oxford, trained man, scientist, Professor Khosla, the chancellor. Is Oxford trained scientist.
So it doesn't really matter where you study.
What I mean, he believes in it, and he explained to me in many ways that it is possible. This can happen. And according to those laws which I don't understand really much over them. I want to know from you, what is your take on this? Can the people who are, gone to that level with their...
I will answer this. Let me finish reading the poetry, then we'll just come to metaphysics and talking about things like this. Also, in your own journey, you keep on evolving, so your own thought process keeps growing. So when I look back at what I recorded, I was like, he was just telling me, something we did 2 years back, I said, just scrap it. I don't want it. So because you have come so far beyond that doesn't excite you anymore, and you're not willing to give it to the world. When I was a kid, a very young age, I decided I will only write. I wanted to be a writer. 3 or 4, I realized I want to be a writer. I don't know how. And I said, I want to be like Shakespeare. He never died. Even 400 years after his death, he is remembered and treated as being alive. So I said, I want to be that kind of a writer. And then I used to say, but I only want to write for the 0.1% people in the world who will be at a level of consciousness where they will understand that kind of refined knowledge. I didn't know where it was going to come from. But over the years, I started writing. I was very blessed. I always had a very spiritual bent of mind. I could read the Guru Granth Sahib without having learnt Punjabi as a kid, and I was in a British school. And I was like, I used to wonder, I said, "Mainu kyun aanda hai?" But then later on, when I did my past life readings and all, I figured out that for my past 2 births, I was a Sikh preacher. So that came to me naturally. Before that, I was a Muslim at the Kaaba. So that all came to me naturally. And I wanted, when I was around in the 10th standard, I wanted to be a preacher very strongly. I didn't want to get married. I always wanted to spread the word of Guru Nanak. He was my favorite guru. And my thought process was I would embrace every religion. So I used to go to the mandir, masjid, gurdwara. I grew up in a very Muslim city. There 80% Muslims hai. So I only learned Urdu and English because I went to a British school. And then, ab ye azan hai. It wasn't meant for them to hear this, so they didn't want to be here. I'm not being derogatory. I'm just saying that these things are meant for a handful. And I am only a messenger. I'm like a catalyst. I'm just saying it. It comes to me, I say it. I don't even remember. I don't even know what I'm saying. So I feel that whoever's meant to listen to this, and for whoever's soul it is enriching, they will listen. And even the books I write, now I'm writing, like I was talking about writing the book. And I used to keep writing, and I've been writing over the years. I said, no, I can't get it published. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. I will only get it published when it's the ultimate knowledge which has to be out for the world. Until now, honestly, I've been writing. I mean, I'm 60-ish. But I was never satisfied. But now I am convinced. Okay, now whatever I'm saying is what the world needs to hear now. So it's like, I think I'm ready and the world is ready for whatever that knowledge is, for whatever I'm sent. It's like, who am I? You know? ਜਿਵੇਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਧੁਰ ਕੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਆਈ ਚਿੰਤ ਸਗਲੀ ਚਿੰਤ ਮਟਾਈ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਆਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਬੋਲੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ so it's like that I feel that it just comes to me and I say it after that I don't remember a lot of people used to ask me please recite a poetry मेरे को तो पता ही नहीं मैंने क्या लिखा मैं तो रिसाइट ही नहीं कर सकती हूँ तो अब भी मुझे सीरियसली नहीं याद but I am glad I've got it published and now I'm kind of happy about it. इधर आ जाओ इधर से. Okay, so I'm just going to read these two things which I think I should. जब मैं खोले सी पेज ही आया सी. Now that's gone. We'll read something else. Something else has come. यही पढ़ लेते हैं. It's called The Need. Myriads of emotion keep dancing in front of my eyes. Liquid pools of gold and bright with rainbow colors. The joys of life coming on to me so strong. Can I handle this feeling ever? Overwhelming, taking me over pathways of freedom, to prance in my subconscious, latently to believe I just existed over the years and simply resisted the need to be with you. So you could be God and you could be the person you think you're in love with because everyone is the image of God. And when we see that God within us and in the other person, that's love. Inspiration. Your love has been the greatest inspiration of my life. Finally, I feel that whatever I have come to do in the world, achieve I shall. If I keep my focus distinctly on you and allow my love to just flow through you, I feel so intensely pulsating in my being. The blood that courses through my veins is just your love, fulfilling me ever so completely, that my spirit rises in a sense of joy and freedom. From within me, I sense just that being a creature of joy is what is on this planet. This is called the mission. How the body is designed for sheer perfection. How when we allow love to just flow through us, perfection takes on as a feat of completion. And we are one with the source. Charged with the energy that created us, we rise to fulfill our mission on this earth, to move on to exist in new worlds beyond. Together, our energy, creating all that we ever asked for in our state divine. Thank you, जी. बस मेरे ख्याल काफी है.
तो मेरे सवाल का जवाब दो.
थोड़े सवाल का जवाब मैं सब जरूर दूंगी. तो वैसे I'll also tell you something. Like I said, you know, over the years, I used to keep saying, I don't know enough to tell the world. I don't know enough to get this published. I don't know enough to even get my voice out. But one day, it just came to me. Everything comes through your intuition. You have to learn to listen to you yourself within. It will come. It really came to me, I'm telling you. In this COVID time, I went through, I lost my dad. That was one of my most passionate relationships since my childhood. So it took me very long to deal with it. And I lost another relationship I was very close to, which also broke me. And they were the two most powerful relationships in my life. And then I realized that I was seeing my father in this other relationship. So both of them went simultaneously at the same time. It was to make me realize that there is no need for us to be dependent on an outside source. The love is within us, whether it is my father's love or the love of another man or whoever. So when we find that thing which they call self-love in today's world, I mean, I used to teach self-love karo. You know, on an intellectual level, we understand everything. But to be really living it is completely different. I mean, over the years, I've been a spiritual coach. I teach around the world. People listen to me. They tell me, you've changed our lives. Thousands of people. I used to keep wondering, what am I changing? Meri ta koi badal nahi rahi hai. You know, so, but the day that realization, I mean, I used to think, oh, I really love myself. Well, I love myself. Of course, I love myself. But I realized that I really didn't. Till we don't understand, I used to, you know, all my opening lectures would be, Aham Brahmasmi, Mahi Brahma hu. मैं बोल तो रही थी, लेकिन अब मुझे पता लगा कि वो मैंने अपने आप को कभी उस लेवल पे नहीं सोचा था कि मैं ब्रह्म हूँ. हाँ, इंटेलेक्चुअली सोचा था. Like if we look at Osho, I used to keep saying, he used to say, I'm God. मैं तो बड़ा गलत बंदा है, अपने आप को ही God कही जाता है. But now I've actually started understanding that if we are a part of that source, we are God, but we don't respect ourselves because we allow ourselves the weakness of the world, and we are taught from our childhood, bhai main ta kuch nahi. Study Indian culture teaches us, you know, be subservient, apne aap ko neeva. My mother's always neeve rakho, neeve. So although I would find a lot of rebellion in that, see, that's what Guru Nanak taught. Now, what if the Sufis taught this only? I mean, I remember feeling all this sentiment, like I would go to the masjid and pray, and my mom would always tell me that, you know, Sadhe Guru Sahab ne kya hai. So I said, what is this Sadhe Guru Sahab? Guru to same hi hote hai. And God to ek hi hai. It's just different paths. But I think 90%, 99% of the human race is wired to believe that you are born in a certain religion. So, and I believe in a way at that level, it's good for them. Because if somebody is in class 1, how can you understand a PhD ka professor? Usko to wo class 1 hi samajh aati hai. So that is the difference between evolution or whatever. And that's what is mysticism actually. I mean, I studied philosophy for my master's. My parents were really worked up. Really on a subject, you know. And I had a scholarship for my master's in literature to Cambridge. And my dad was very disappointed. He didn't think literature was great. He used to think economics padho. You know, economics ka zamana hai and all that. And philosophy, so a lot of my friends actually said, kahin aur admission nahi mil rahi hogi na, philosophy department mein le liya. Because in our zamana, the Punjab University, only the super villas, the guys who were the politicians and would want to stay at the university for years and years would take admission there. So, but then I know what I learned and I know how good I felt. So, I mean, today I just thought, मैंने कहा यार देखें, just before coming, मैं कहा, let me Google and see what is mysticism. So when I Googled it, I saw the same things, what René Descartes said this, so and so said this. I said, what the hell, okay, they were great philosophers. They said what they wanted to, but what do I want to say? I have my own way of looking at it. I think mysticism is just a way of connecting with the source. And I think it's just a way of expressing that ecstasy and the bliss of divinity. And if you can do that, I think you're very blessed and you're mystical. You were like, आजकल सारी दुनिया रूमी को ही quote करती रहती है. If you notice. And it's almost fashionable. I was in America 10 years ago. And there's a Rumi society. I became a part of it. And I used to believe that my poetry is like Rumi. I used to laugh as a kid. I said, maybe Rumi ki spirit mere andar aa jati hai. Because, my poetry would always be that typical type about God and this and that. So then I realized that then I used to be a little critical of Deepak Chopra and all. I used to go for their seminars. Ke Rumi ko hi quote karte rehte hain. Because they end up, the American mind is very simple. They're very innocent compared to us Indians. And I enjoy in the morning, I'll do my spiritual reading, writing and all. In the evening, I love going to party, to jam, to go to a disco. I'm in New York. I stay in the best hotel which has the best bloody discotheque. शाम को I go, रात को 2 बजे भी जाओ ना, वहाँ दुनिया नाचती है. But I think we've been sent to this world to enjoy it ना. Why should we be critical कि यार है तो बड़ा बकवास. If somebody's, as long as you're not doing negative things. And I think people are pretty aware now. People who have reached that level, who are gods? People like Elon Musk, who have given us so much. Or people like, Aki है जिन्हें Apple बनाया है. Steve Jobs. I was reading his story years ago. He came looking for spirituality to India as the Beatles came. When I was in Wellams, I remember the Beatles came. And we were like totally fascinated. I remember मैंने ना वो ऐसे अपने Paul McCartney जैसे बाल काटे थे. And my grandmother would tell me, तेरी अक्खां खराब हो जानी है. काटे बाल है. But that time Beatles came looking for spirituality to Rishikesh. And then when this guy came, he's written, I don't know who's read that book, his biography.
I've written review of that book for the Sidhu.
Oh, how interesting. So what he's saying is that, I wore my dhoti and kurta and I went to the banks of the Ganges and I said, okay, now I'm going to do my meditation and look for God. And he says, there I saw this milkman.
But ultimately, he turned out to be an idiot. He wasn't a human being. He was a third rate. He was a...
But look, he left so much. Everybody's using the apple.
For that matter, he's another one.
No, but we can't look at that aspect. We have to look at the aspect of what they're giving society.